Talking business and beyond. The show that puts the money where it belongs. Back in your pocket.
Welcome to my world. I'm your host, Kevin Rutherford. The website is letstruck.com. The show is all about the business of trucking. We'll take your calls and answer your questions about trucks, money, fuel mileage, maintenance, tires, taxes, technology, health and fitness on the road, getting started as an owner-operator, finding freight, working with brokers, getting your authority. You name it, we'll talk about it. All you have to do is pick up the phone and call. We're going to get to those calls in just a little bit. Today is going to be our MidAmerica Truck Show preview. We're being joined by, let me check my list. We have OPS, Fleet Air Filter, Pittsburgh Power, Landstar, MD Alignment. I think that might be it for today. We'll find out what is new and exciting with them and what you can expect from them at the truck show. I'm going to get to some calls, and we'll talk about the truck show in just a little bit. Let's get started today in Florida. Adam, welcome to the program. Oh, Adam, are you there? You were breaking up.
Yep.
There you go.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me?
Yep, go ahead.
Can you hear me? Okay. We're transitioning with the Penske truck. We're going to be taking it over the road, pulling it out of California. We're putting a driver in it. We're going to, it's going to be an employee again, and we're going to pay him 50 cents a mile. We're going to pay the per diem like we're supposed to be doing, and we need to know how we're supposed to do that with QuickBooks.
Okay. So have you decided on how much per diem you're going to pay him yet?
The $63?
Okay. So you're going to do it truly by the day and not by the mile then?
Well, that's the question. We're paying him by the mile.
Okay.
How are we supposed to break this down if we're going to pay him the per diem, by the mile?
Yeah.
Or by the day, or how is it supposed to work in QuickBooks?
Yeah, got it. So before we even get to QuickBooks, let's just talk about how it works, because it's kind of confusing. If we want to maximize the benefit for everybody, the tax benefits, if we want to maximize the tax benefits for the driver and for you, because remember, the more you pay in per diem, the less you have to pay in Social Security and Medicare. But it gets a little tricky,
right,
because you're not really adding this on top of their wage. You just want it to be a part of their wage. And that's how really all carriers do it. So what they try to do is we try to come up with a mileage number that will get us as close as possible to the $63 a day without going over. Because if we pay the $63 a day, then we would have to do this weird calculation and back that out of their pay, and their mileage pay would literally change every week. And nobody wants to do that. It's too much work. So can you give me an idea of about how many miles a day he'll average?
Per day, I'm not sure, but I'm guessing it's going to be right around 2,500, 2,000 to 2,500 a week.
Okay, and in that week, do you know about how many days he would be away from home?
Probably 7. I mean, this is going to be like, over the road, gone forever type situation.
Got it. Okay. So let's say he's going to get about 350 miles a day. If we did, let's see, 350 a day.
When I did the calculation, it came out to like 15 cents a mile on 3,000 miles at like $450.
Okay.
But that's just me doing 3,000 for the week.
Yeah, and that's kind of the calculation I was heading towards. So, and that sounds about right. You could pick a number somewhere between, say, 12 and 15. At 15, there is, you know what? if you want to maximize this, you could just start at 15, because it doesn't matter if we overpay them on any given week. We just need to make sure we don't overpay them for the year. So we could always go back and review this throughout the year and make adjustments if we had to. So I would start at 15. So here's what you would do in QuickBooks now that we have our numbers. So you would set, since you're paying him 50 cents total, you would set payroll up in QuickBooks, taxable payroll, as 35 cents a mile. That way when you put in your number, you know, your miles, it'll do the calculation for you, and all your payroll's done and your taxes are done. Then in QuickBooks, in payroll, you can add a line for, like, other things you're paying somebody for. And once you add the line, one of the choices becomes, is this taxable or not? And under per diem, you would choose that it's not taxable. And that way, all the paperwork's going to be correct. You're only going to have to pay them one check. I know companies that, you know, complicate this and try to pay two checks, and you're just going to pay them one check, and it's going to be a total amount. But QuickBooks is only going to tax that 35 cents a mile as long as you set this up correctly. So you're going to add a payroll item. You're going to call it per diem. You're going to make it 15 cents a mile, and you're just going to make sure that QuickBooks knows that it's not taxable.
Really appreciate it, Kevin.
You're welcome. Thanks for the call. Let's see. Oh, well, we had some questions. Looks like we dropped them. So I think what I'm going to do is I am going to head over to talk to Jeffrey Judge from Fleet Air Filters. Jeffrey, welcome back.
Hey, Kevin, how are you?
Good. What's new and exciting at Fleet Air Filters these days?
Right now, we're getting set up for the show. Up in Indiana right now, picking up filters. So we're looking forward to the next couple of days.
Ah, that's right. So you're in Indiana, up from the deep south. So are you guys going to have a lot of inventory at the show this year?
Yes, sir, we are. We're going to have pretty good stock in pretty much all the new filters as well. So we're, like I said, up here right now trying to pick up all that so we can make sure that we can meet the demand at the show.
There you go. Sounds good. Are you? Do you have any filters this year at the show that you didn't have last
year? Not yet. We are currently in the phase of drawing out some new stuff, but right now we're pretty much everything that we've had the past year or so.
Okay, good. Which still covers most of the trucks on the market. It's only some of the really newer models with new filter designs, right? You guys cover a lot of trucks right now.
Oh yeah, we're looking at the new Cascadia filter for like the 2018, 2019 trucks that are coming out. I've been in touch with a few customers right now and trying to get that squared away. But right now we're focused on that one and trying to get some other filters that we got on our list to get made. So looking forward to a big 2018 for sure.
Yeah, fantastic. Hey, you know, we always forget that, you know, you guys have been with us for so long and we've partnered with you for so long that sometimes we forget. We have new listeners all the time. Why don't you just give a quick rundown of what a Fleet Air Filter is?
Well, what we offer is a lifetime washable air filter. It's cleanable with Dawn dish soap and water. You're getting about 40% better airflow than your OEM paper filters. With it being a lifetime filter that you can just clean with Dawn dish soap and water, you've got a filter that'll last the lifetime of your truck. So we offer improved performance out of the filter, and then also you can get improved fuel mileage out of it as well. And currently we're averaging anywhere from 0.2 to 0.4 across the board for all of our filters as an increase in fuel mileage out of it.
So you have savings in the cost of fuel, obviously, which is huge, but you also have a savings in the cost of the filter. You're not constantly buying those paper filters over and over. You know, when I first started doing the research on this product, I was confused because I thought that, you know, it was one or the other with a filter. You either had better flow and then you got more dirt, or, you know, you had worse flow but you stopped more dirt. That seemed to be the only option. In fact, that's kind of the way a paper filter works. When you first put it in and it's real clean, it flows a lot of air, flows more air, but it also lets more dirt through. Then as it starts to gather dirt, it gets better at filtering, but now you're starving the engine for air. So let me get to a break. I'll come right back. We'll talk more about that filter with Jeffrey Judge from Fleet Air Filter. Stick around. We'll be right back. I'm Kevin Rutherford. All right, everybody, real quick, it looks like I can squeeze a couple questions in between the guests. So if you have a question about anything at all, go ahead and press 1 on your phone, and I'll try to get to some questions between the guests we've got scheduled. Here we go. Welcome back. I'm Kevin Rutherford. This is Let's Truck and Trucking Business and Beyond. We're doing the Matt's pre-show today, and I'm talking with Jeffrey Judge from Fleet Air Filter. So, Jeffrey, getting back to what I was saying there, that, you know, I thought it was one or the other on a filter, and when I did the research and found out that, you know, your filter, an oiled foam filter, could flow more air, but still filter better. I thought, well, how does that make sense? And then, you know, at doing the research, I found out the foam is more porous than the paper, so it allows a lot of air to flow through. But being oiled foam, and your filter is the only filter on the market that's an oiled foam filter. Being oiled foam, the oil and the electrostatic charge draws the dirt into the filter element itself and traps it. So it's a pretty unique thing that, and oiled filters are used in almost every other area where performance is critical, but we never used them in trucks, and it just makes so much sense. So it's interesting, in case anybody's wondering, that's how the technology works. It flows more air, which that's where we get our fuel economy increase. In fact, if you look at any of the truck manufacturers in their research, they will show you the more air you flow, the better fuel economy you get. The challenge is getting that air to flow better, and your product does that. And we know that it traps more dirt because we track oil samples and we see less dirt in the oil. So it's a real win-win.
Yes, the oil, that's going to keep the fine dust and dirt, which our filters will filter out better. With the oil, that's key to the longevity of your engine and performance standpoint from that. So we always recommend, you know, taking your filter out over the road miles every, 30 to 40,000 miles. Take them out, clean them. Something that takes 15, 30 minutes normally. So that way you're maintaining your fuel mileage, getting the most out of your truck.
Yeah, the other thing that I think works really well is your filter has foam wraps around it. And, you've got the beautiful, aluminum machined frames for the filter itself, the housing, and then you have the foam wraps that go around it. And you take those foam wraps off, you wash them, you hang them out, you dry them, you re-oil them. What I think just makes total sense is to get an extra set of wraps for each of the filters, and then always have a set cleaned and oiled. That way, you're never down. You take the filter out, put a new set of wraps on, then when you have time, you wash that set, have them sitting aside.
Yeah, and exciting news for us was we're now doing all the machining for our filters in-house, so we can stay on top of the demand that we have for our filters. So we've got a machine in can do all this, which so in our filters to make sure that we get the most out of our filters. So we've implemented that here in the past month or so.